The Moon, Earth's only natural satellite, and a giant mirror reflecting humanity's deepest mysteries. For thousands of years we've looked up and imagined. But ever since NASA actually set foot there, what they brought back wasn't just rock. It was a pile of questions no one has ever answered. Strange radio signals, unexplained flashes of light, even sounds echoing from deep within the moon. NASA called them natural phenomena. But if you read the declassified technical reports, you'll notice the term unexplained anomaly, which is really just a scientific way of saying we have no idea what the hell that was. And in this video, we'll look back at the discoveries that even NASA can't fully explain, real documented events that remain wrapped in silence. Let's dive right in. Number 6. The moon that rang like a bell. When Apollo 12 landed on the moon in 1969, NASA ran a simple test. They dropped the lunar module onto the surface to measure the impact. The result? The moon vibrated. For 55 minutes. Seismic instruments recorded the waves echoing back and forth like the sound of a ringing bell. One NASA engineer remarked, "It rang like it was hollow inside." That single comment shocked the world. Because if the moon truly had a hollow structure, it wouldn't be a natural celestial body at all. NASA didn't confirm it, of course. They simply stated, "The moon's geological structure is different from Earth's. In other words, we don't know why, but it shouldn't be doing that." From there, theories exploded, suggesting the moon might contain massive hollow chambers or even artificial structures. Some scientists went as far as to say, if the moon is natural, it behaves like a metal drum being struck. And the chilling part, NASA repeated the same experiment with Apollo 13 and got the same result. The moon sang again. Number 5. The mysterious light before the landing. In 1968, during the Apollo 8 mission, the first flight to orbit the moon, astronaut Frank Borman reported seeing a faint silver glow emerging from the moon's dark rim. At first, they assumed it was sunlight reflecting off the surface, but when Apollo 10 and 11 followed the same path, that same region lit up again. At the exact same time, just minutes before the moon slipped into full darkness. NASA labeled it transient lunar phenomena. But in an internal 1972 report, they quietly admitted, the light source could not be identified. It was not reflection, not plasma, not electrostatic dust. Even stranger, that exact region matched the Aristarchus crater, where observers had been seeing flickering blue lights since 1787, long before modern telescopes existed. Independent researchers suggest it could be high-energy geological activity, or maybe a natural radioactive leak. But others offer a more provocative idea. Maybe it wasn't glowing because of energy, but because of intelligence. To this day, Aristarchus remains the most mysterious hotspot on the moon, a place NASA has never landed again. No one knows why, and they've never explained it. Number 4. Flying objects on the moon. Most of us imagine the moon's sky as perfectly still. No air, no atmosphere, nothing that could possibly fly. But the astronauts told a very different story. In 1969, during the Apollo 11 mission, humanity's first landing on the moon, Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin reported seeing slow-moving, glowing objects drifting across their line of sight. For years, that transmission was classified. When it was finally partially declassified, the audio went like this. Armstrong: "Do you see them moving along the rim of that crater?" Aldrin: "Yeah, but they're not falling. They're just hovering." NASA later explained it might have been sunlight reflecting off debris from the lunar module. But there's one problem. Those objects were several kilometers above the surface, and the radar showed no reflective signals. Not just Apollo 11. Apollo 15, 16, and 17 all recorded similar moving lights circling in orbit. Some of the automatic cameras even captured them flaring up and vanishing within seconds. Astronomers called it the lunar UFO phenomenon, still unexplained to this day. Some say they were charged dust particles evaporating. Others suspect they were secret human satellites reflecting light from behind the moon. But the detail that keeps people awake at night? Those objects only ever appeared when the Apollo feed was live on TV. Moments later, NASA cut the transmission. Since then, across every press conference, NASA has never issued an official statement about objects flying around the moon. But if you listen closely to the leaked Apollo 16 audio, you can hear Aldrin whisper, "They're watching us." Number 3. The mysterious radio music from the far side of the moon. There's one eerie moment in every Apollo mission, when the spacecraft passes behind the moon, entering the far side where Earth can't reach it. For a few minutes, all contact is lost. Astronauts called it the dead zone. But in May 1969, during Apollo 10, something strange happened. As the craft slipped into darkness, instead of silence, the astronauts heard a series of eerie tones echoing through their internal radio system. It wasn't static. It had rhythm, like an electronic whistle repeating over and over. In the 2008 declassified recording, you can hear them talking. "You hear that? Sounds like music." "Yeah. But how? We're on the far side." When they returned to, NASA filed the tape under anomalous transmission. No public explanation was ever given. The official note read only, "Likely interference between modules." But radio frequency experts disagreed, saying random interference can't produce such consistent melodic patterns. When analyzed through frequency mapping software, the signal showed a repeating structure, almost like Morse code, as if someone was sending a message. The chilling part: the signal came from the far side of the moon, the one place no radar on Earth can reach, meaning if someone was transmitting music, they weren't from Earth. NASA has never released a full decoding of that signal, but an internal document labeled #DSN4512 reportedly included one cryptic note: "Pattern detected, possible coded origin." Whatever NASA heard out there, it was the last time any Apollo mission ever recorded sound from the moon's dark side. Number 2. Artificial structures, or just an illusion. Ever since humans captured the first high-resolution photos of the moon, one question has refused to fade. Why do some of its formations look so much like artificial structures? In 1967, NASA's Lunar Orbiter 3 snapped an image that startled researchers. On the rim of the Timocharis crater stood a pyramid-shaped object, about 1.5 kilometers tall, casting a shadow longer than the nearby mountains. NASA labeled it likely a geological protrusion, but terrain specialists disagreed. No known natural process produces a pyramid that perfect. Then, in 1980, while reanalyzing Apollo 15 images, geologists found massive square blocks arranged in rows along the edge of Mare Imbrium, the Sea of Rains. They aligned at perfect right angles, almost like the ruins of an ancient wall. Light scan data even showed metallic reflection from some of the blocks. NASA stayed silent. 2 decades later, at a scientific symposium, former NASA phototechnician Ken Johnston revealed, "We were once ordered to airbrush or crop out sections that showed unusual bright spots before release." When asked what unusual meant, Johnston answered, "Anything that looked architectural, but wasn't supposed to be there." That confession fueled countless theories. Was the moon once an outpost of a lost civilization? Or was it visited long before humans even knew its name? NASA officially denies all such claims. Yet, modern amateur astronomers, using high-power telescopes, continue to photograph symmetrical, light-reflective structures that look far from natural. As one physicist joked, "If that's just rock, it's a rock that understands geometry." Maybe NASA's silence doesn't mean they don't know. Maybe it means they know too well how much it could change everything we believe about the universe. Number 1. Signals coming from the moon itself. For years, NASA placed seismometers and radiation sensors all over the lunar surface. Among hundreds of readings, one signal stands apart, something no one has ever dared to explain. In 1971, the Houston Control Center detected a faint radio transmission coming from near the moon's south pole, not from any Apollo craft, and not on any known frequency used by humans. The pulse repeated every 3 minutes 42 seconds, continuing for 3 straight days. When analyzed, it showed a structured harmonic waveform, like encoded data. Yet it carried no language, no recognizable information, just an unnaturally precise rhythm. Some analysts argued it was a natural reflection of cosmic radio waves, but another small group, later reportedly silenced, disagreed. It was transmitting from beneath the lunar surface. Soon after, NASA stopped releasing frequency data from the South Pole. And strangely, in 1977, all reports related to the event, catalogued under LPR 58, were removed from public archives. Independent researchers still believe it could be an automated signal from an ancient device, something placed there tens of thousands of years ago. Others think it was a reminder that we were never truly alone in this solar system. Believe it or not, the moon keeps its own secrets. Maybe it's only rock, dust, and silence. Or maybe it's an ancient vault holding truths humanity isn't ready to face. Because sometimes what terrifies us most isn't the darkness on the moon, but the thought that someone on the other side is watching back. That's all for today. I'll be making more videos like this soon. If you enjoyed it, give me a follow and hit subscribe.